We've been told that history in the Americas began in 1492, that before European explorers set foot on these lands they were empty, waiting to be discovered. But what if everything we thought we knew was wrong? What if, long before Columbus, there were vast civilizations, cities larger than London, pyramids rivaling those of Egypt, and societies that mastered science, agriculture, and governance in ways that continue to shape our world today? This is the untold story of America before Columbus. 1,000 years ago, in what is now Illinois, stood one of the greatest cities of its time, Cahokia. At its height, Cahokia was home to over 40,000 people, making it larger than London in the 1200s. Its towering Monk's Mound, the largest pre-Columbian earthwork in North America, stood as a testament to the architectural brilliance of its builders. The sheer scale of Cahokia challenges the notion that Native American societies were small and primitive. This was an urban center with organized streets, political hierarchies, and an economy built on trade stretching from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. The Cahokians were master astronomers. They built Woodhenge, a circle of wooden posts aligned with the solstices, much like England's Stonehenge. But despite its grandeur, Cahokia mysteriously declined around 1350. Was it war, climate change, a society that outgrew its resources? The truth remains buried in the past. In the arid southwest, another civilization rose, the Ancestral Puebloans. Here in Chaco Canyon they built monumental structures of stone, perfectly aligned with the movements of the stars. Some of these buildings were as large as the Roman Colosseum. They didn't just survive in the desert, they thrived. Their roads stretched for hundreds of miles, their irrigation systems turned barren land into fertile fields, and their knowledge of astronomy allowed them to track the solstices and equinoxes with incredible accuracy. But by the 1300s, these great cities were abandoned. Some say it was a mega-drought, others suggest internal conflict or migration. Whatever the reason, the people didn't disappear. They adapted, their descendants forming the modern Hopi and Pueblo tribes. Long before the Founding Fathers drafted the U.S. Constitution, democracy was already thriving in North America. The Iroquois Confederacy, formed in the 12th century, was a sophisticated alliance of nations bound by the Great Law of Peace, a constitution that emphasized collective decision-making and balance of power. Franklin and Jefferson studied the Iroquois system. Their structure of government, separate branches, representation, and checks on power, directly influenced the formation of the United States. And here's something truly revolutionary. Iroquois women held significant political power, selecting leaders and holding veto rights centuries before women gained the right to vote in America. Then came the biggest catastrophe in human history. The arrival of Europeans brought more than ships and guns. It brought an invisible enemy. Within a century of first contact, up to 90% of the indigenous population was wiped out by disease. Imagine entire cities abandoned overnight. Leaders, healers, and knowledge keepers, all gone. It wasn't just a loss of life, but a loss of culture, history, and identity. But despite centuries of devastation, indigenous nations are still here. Their languages, traditions, and wisdom endure, shaping the fight for land rights, environmental justice, and cultural preservation today. The story of America didn't begin in 1492, it began thousands of years before, with civilizations that thrived, innovated, and shaped the land in ways we are only beginning to understand. It's time we tell their story. Want more of this amazing history? Click on the subscribe button.